Kahala Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach Wamalak Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakakwadash, Shema Yasharala Yahweh, Allahaya Nawa Yahweh Akkad. All right, so what I want to touch on right now is we coming up on Feast of Passover. We observe the Passover 14 days from the new moon. The new moon was the 20th. 14 days from that will be the 3rd at even. So we observe the Passover. We're going to keep Passover tonight. But the whole point of me doing this lesson is, hey, we're rehearsing the righteous acts. So if you don't have a camp that you can congregate with that's in your area, or then it's okay. Just observe it the best way you know how. Get lamb, get bitter herbs, get something to go around your waist, get you a staff, right, and still follow protocol. Still follow the ritual that's in the scriptures. Follow it the best way you know how, right? Don't look at it as you don't have a congregation and you don't have a congregation, so you just like to hell with it. I ain't gonna keep it because I don't have nobody to keep it with. Because you can still keep it by yourself, man, if you are alone. But if there is a congregation that's around you, you need to be getting with that congregation, because at the end of the day, it's a holy convocation. And a holy means a separated. Convocation means a gathering, reading, uh, gathering or reading, right? Assembly, that's the other word it was. So a holy convocation is where you come together and it's separate from all, what the world does, right? It's a holy convocation, and you have to be gathered with brothers and sisters to keep, especially the Passover. Passover is the most important high holy day that we have, and the Most High is very serious about the Passover, right? It even goes into Yahweh Shah, his blood is so serious, right? So what I want to get first is Judges 5 and 11. It says, they that are delivered from the noise of archers and the places of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, right? So that's the place that we in, and this is the place that we expect to be delivered from. The place of the drawing archers, which is the bows, right? And the bows can even go into, the arrows can even go into nuclear missiles, right? I don't know if you know, but America, if they shoot a missile and they don't know where the missile went, or if the missile is like a dummy missile, it don't work or something, they call it a broken arrow. That's what they call it. So missiles can be known as arrows. In 2nd Ezra 16, the Lord said he's going to shoot his arrows. Right? That's not talking about no physical arrows. Don't nobody really shoot that no more. It's talking about thermonuclear missiles. So the same place, I'm going to read it one more time. They that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the places of drawing water, there, it says, there shall they rehearse. Right? When you rehearse something, you practice it. Right? You practice it so you can get better and better at it. Right? So yearly and yearly, you should be getting better and better. Yearly and yearly, you should be more prepared to keep it. Right? That's the objective. That's what you need to be doing, because the Lord is not playing around. You got to be keeping it to the best of your ability. You have to be keeping it. And even when you do keep it, let's say we think we keep it perfectly, you're really not, because you don't have a priest to bring this for, right? We don't have certain ritual. There's holes in certain parts of the rituals that we have to perform when it comes to these high holy days. Right. So the best thing for us to do is rehearse it, practice it, practice it, practice it. Right. So I'm going to keep going. It says, they that are delivered from the noise of the archers and the places of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts. Right. We know what the righteous act is. Deuteronomy chapter 6 and 25. Let me get it right quick. It says Deuteronomy 6 and 25, and it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God. So the Lord want to see. It says it's going to be your righteousness to perform. It says, and it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God. So the Lord wants to see us performing these righteous acts. The Lord knows we're not going to be able to keep it perfectly. He put us in captivity, but we have to be practicing them none the least, man. You have to practice the righteous acts. You have to rehearse the righteous acts. Just like when I did the video over Feast of Booths. We only could stay out there for a weekend, but guess what? We rehearsed the righteous acts. We went out there and we camped until it was time to go back to slavery. It's time to go back to the plantation. Right? That's what we got to do, man. But there is no excuses. But it says, before the Lord our God, as he commanded us. There is no excuses, man. That's why That's one of the reasons why the Lord took this yoke of iron from off our necks so that we can rehearse these righteous acts. Right? Our captivity is almost up, but he wanna see us rehearsing his righteous acts, man. Right? It says, I'm gonna read it 5 and 11. They that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the place of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates. Right? From here, from being in captivity, all the way, because you can read that in Baruch chapter 2, the last couple verses. I believe it started 25, all the way down to 30, where it talks about how we would think upon his name and come back to the law, statutes, commandments in a land of our captivities. So not just the last captivity, all of the captivities that we've been in, we had to come back to the Lord's law, statutes, commandments. That was us repenting. So us being here, you have to repent by keeping the righteous acts, rehearsing the righteous acts of the Lord in these last days. And there is no excuses, man. Because look, I'm gonna show you this. This is First John. Let me get First John right quick, because these are the only two precepts I had in my heart. But we're gonna see what else I can pull out. All right, so this is First John chapter 3 and verse 7. So it says, First John 3 and 7, little children, let no man deceive you. So don't let anybody deceive you on what he's about to say. This is very critical, it's very specific. He says, he that doeth righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. So you understand that? That is a blessing. That should be motivation for you to keep the high holy day, to keep the law in general. Because I just read in Deuteronomy 6 and 25, it's our righteousness that we keep the law. So when you see righteousness, it's talking about keeping the law. And it's talking about also the righteousness of faith in Romans chapter 4. Let me get there right quick, because it's not just the righteousness of the law. So that's why I'm going to pull this out. So this is Romans 4 and 13. It says, for the promise that he should be the heir of the world was not to Abraham or to his seed through the law, right? It says, but through the righteousness of faith. So, and those things go hand in hand. James chapter 2 will tell you that. Faith without works, works goes back to the law. Faith without works is dead. But you got to have both. They both go back to righteousness. So you got to have faith while you keeping these high holy days. You got to have faith that you performing these good works, that the Lord is going to deliver you. Because we all prisoners of hope. We are prisoners of hope, but you're not going to be able to sit around and do nothing and think you're going to get saved, because that's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. So I'm going to read it again. Little children, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. Now, if you read this in a GNT, I got my phone propped up doing this lesson on my phone, so I can't pull it up, or I would. But if you go into the GNT, it says, he that practice righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. So you rehearsing the righteous acts in Judges 5:11, and then you have one in the New Testament telling you that when you practice righteousness, when you do righteousness, you are a righteous person. Only one that can perfectly do it was Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, man. So that's what the scriptures say. When you practice righteousness, you are righteous. When you practice righteousness, you are a righteous person, man. Hallelujah. All praises to the Most High God, man. That he gave us he gave us the law, statutes, commandments back so that we can rehearse these righteous acts, so that we can practice. Because when we out of here, the laws are going to be written on our hearts, on our inward parts. So there's no need for practice, and we're not going to go off. But as we're here in Babylon the Great, we're in captivity, we have to rehearse the righteous acts, man. We have to. Passover is tonight. Observe and do the Passover to the best way you know how. Read Exodus 12, read Deuteronomy 16, read Leviticus 23, read Numbers 9, right? Read 1 Corinthians chapter 6. That's a chapter in 1 Corinthians where Paul was talking about the leaven. I believe it's 5. It's one of those early chapters. Read one of those chapters. You can find it. Of Paul going over Yahweh Shah and you eating the bread unworthily, right? And then you got Feast of Unleavened Bread, that's coming that Paul was speaking about. And then you got where Yahushua was speaking about it in Matthew, right? Where he talks about bread, the unleavened bread goes back to malice, right? Leavened bread goes back to malice and wickedness, right? I'm just roughly paraphrasing it, man, as I go. But yeah, man, we have to keep these feast days, right, in order to be delivered. And plus, it's going to give you a better feeling. It's going to make you feel like you're accomplishing something, right? That purpose that you know that you have now, you're gonna feel good about it when you keep these high holy days, right? You're not gonna feel a good if you let this high holy day just pass you by. Go get lamb, go get bitter herbs, go get you a staff, go get you a belt to go around your garment, man. Hey, and keep it the best way you know how. Then right after Passover, you got the Feast of Unleavened Bread for 7 days. The first day is a holy convocation, and the last day is a holy convocation. All right. So Lord willing, you was edified, man. Shalom.